Today, I will recap a supernatural horror drama called In the Tall Grass. Spoilers ahead. Becky and Cal are siblings. They are driving to San Diego as Becky wants to give her baby to an adopting family after labor. When she is reading, she gets a sudden disgust from her stomach. They pull up and Becky opens the car door to vomit. After Becky feels a little better, they hear a boy calling for help. The voice is from the tall grass. Becky gets out of the car, waiting for Cal to pull the car off the side of the road. He parks it in front of a church, walks back where Becky stands, and goes into the tall grass to rescue the boy. The boy's name is Tobin. He is with his mother, Natalie. In the tall grass, Becky tries to call 911 but the signal is lost and she couldn't find Cal either. Cal and Becky can hear Tobin and his mother yelling, but they just can't find them. Cal and Becky quickly get separated, and even though they could hear each other around, they couldn't meet. Cal asks Becky to stand still for Cal to walk to her, but Cal's voice sometimes sounds close but sometimes far. So, they decide to jump and raise their hands above the grass for each other to locate. After the first jump, they both get confident as the distance is near. But the second jump, they are shocked by the drastic change of distance between them. They both get petrified. Cal starts to run and gets tumbled by a muddy swamp. When he is about to get up, he sees a dead dog with a collar showing its name as Freddy. As dusk approaches, Becky encounters Tobin's father Ross. He tells her he is a real estate salesman. He tells her to stay with him, and don't lose sight of him. She sees a bag of small items all over the place. The soon she looks ahead, she loses sight of Ross. Cal stumbles across a bruised, dirty Tobin holding a dead crow. Tobin claims the grass won't move dead things and buries the bird in the path. He tells Cal that Becky will die soon, and that the rock told him that. Tobin leads Cal to a small flat field with no grass. A rock locates right in the middle. Tobin tells Cal to touch it. While reaching out his hand, he could hear a tribal enchanting with drum beats, and he sees the weird patterns engraved on the rock. Suddenly, right before he touches the rock, he hears Becky scream. She is attacked by a ghost. Cal runs into the tall grass. In another sunny day, the father of Becky's child, Travis, drives on the same roading looking for the missing Becky and Cal. He pulls up at the church and sees Cal's car covered with dust. After investigating the empty church, he stands outside and lights up a cigarette to smoke, notices a book lying on the road, and picks it up. Becky's name is written on the first page. He stares at the tall grass in front of him, thinking the missing Becky might be inside. He walks into the tall grass and starts to search. After hours of investigating the field, he also stumbles across Tobin wearing dirty clothes, implying that they are acquaintances, leading him to Becky's corpse. Travis desperately sees dead Becky. While he turns to talk to Tobin, Tobin disappears. The next morning, Travis wakes up and takes the rusted necklace from dead Becky's hand. Suddenly he hears a group of people talking. Travis yells for help. He recognizes one of the voices is from Tobin. Simultaneously, back to the road out of the tall grass, a family just parked their car. Another Tobin wearing clean and new clothes arrives at a nearby church with his parents, another Ross and Natalie, and a live dog, Freddy. Hearing Travis, who is now calling out to Tobin, their dog runs into the grass, and the family runs in after him. While searching for their son, Ross loses sight of Natalie as she goes in another direction to find Tobin. They both panic. At night, Ross is upset that his wife doesn't look after her son, which makes them lose their way in the tall grass. He stumbles across the rock and touches it. Another morning, a new Becky and Cal pull over at the same spot where they entered the tall grass in the past, hearing Tobin calling for help. Like what happened in the past, Becky loses sight of Cal, so she stands still and keeps talking in order to let Cal find her. Travis gets thrilled to hear Becky talking and shouts out. Both Becky and Cal are confusedly shocked as they don't know how Travis gets here. Tobin desperately shouts that he found his dead missing dog, Freddy. Knowing the grass's trait, Travis asks Tobin to keep talking and stay there without moving because the grass won't move dead things. Travis, Becky, and Cal all move towards Tobin by tracing the source of his voice. Finally, the four meet each other. Cal suspects Travis was tracing them, so he ends up here. Travis explains to Becky and Cal that they had been missing for 2 months, so he traced their path to find them, but Cal says they only left for San Diego 2 days ago. At this moment, they start to realize they are stuck in a time loop. Travis lets Tobin ride on his shoulders so the height would allow Tobin to see above the tall grass. He spots a building in the distance, then he navigates the other three to move towards there. Suddenly Becky receives a phone call from someone warning them not to repeat the same mistake. With the confusion, they keep on moving. Pregnant Becky gets thirsty and exhausted after a long time walking. The grass constantly scrapes her body. One blade of grass seemingly enters Becky's uterus. The pain gets her passes out. Right after 100 blades of grass go inside her body to seize the embryo. Tobin's father, Ross, suddenly comes out of the grass and starts to revive Becky. He reunites with Tobin and says he'll show them a way out. Leading them to the rock, he persuades them to touch the rock while Cal stands in front of it to check the carvings. Cal reaches his hand out, almost touching the rock. Natalie suddenly runs out from the grass, which makes everybody shocked. Tobin immediately runs into her arms. Ross walks to her like a worried husband. She stands up and tells Ross to back off. She warns everybody not to believe Ross as he is dangerous, and she sobs that she saw Becky is killed by Ross. Ross calls her a lunatic. The others decide to leave but are stopped by Ross. Travis runs towards Ross and hits him from behind. Ross overpowers Travis and still convinces him to touch Rock as he doesn't want to use violence. Right after finishing his words, he breaks Travis' arm. Natalie runs to Ross and tries to stop him, but her head is crushed by Ross' bare hands. Seriously traumatized by the crime scene, Becky, Cal, Travis, and Tobin desperately escape from the rock. During the escape, they find Tobin's dog, Freddy, alive. The dog leads them to the building that they were heading to. The soon they step into the building, Travis blocks the entrance in case Ross will come inside. During the short break, Travis has a quarrel with Cal about Becky's pregnancy. Travis berates Cal for his interruption in his sister's relationship, which further caused their breakup. The quarrel inevitably turns into a fight, but is soon interrupted by the rattle of the metal door as Ross is trying to break in. The four escape into the rooftop, using a rod to lock the gate. Travis and Cal go to the edge of the rooftop to scout, but surprisingly discover that the dog has managed to escape the grass field via an invisible teleport hole that leads to the road. By accident, Travis slips and exerts all his strength to cling a handle. The jealousy inside Cal came out again. He lets go of Travis, causing him to fall off. Ross uses another path to reach the rooftop. Cal holds pregnant Becky up and tries to escape with Tobin. Once they are outside the building, Tobin flees into the grass field. Becky doesn't see Travis. Her suspicion makes her decide to leave Cal. She straight runs into the grass following Tobin. Suddenly a hand grabs Cal. It's from Ross. Cal quickly escapes, but at a turn in the grass, Ross seizes him, strangles him to death. It is revealed they are in a time loop, with Cal permanently being hunted by an insane, possessed Ross in the grass. Simultaneously, Travis is not dead, he fell on a pile of garbage. The soon he gets his consciousness back, he goes into the grass to find Becky. Becky is extremely exhausted and lies flat on her back. While Travis calls Becky's name, Becky hears and responds. Unfortunately, Ross catches Becky and is ready to rape her. Right before Ross puts his big bamboo into her body, she grabs a pair of nail scissors and stabs them into Ross' eye, which makes her able to escape again. A thunderstorm begins. Becky is confronted by grass creatures, who carry her to the rock, which has prophetic marks relating to her pregnancy. Becky makes a phone call, pleading for her past self to prevent Cal from hurting Travis. As she screams in pain from contractions, the ground underneath the rock opens, revealing multiple roots that turn into humanoid figures reaching towards her. She passes out and wakes up to Cal, who squeezes water into her mouth. He is holding her baby. She goes back to sleep and wakes up to Cal feeding her baby to her and telling her it is just grass and seeds. Becky realizes that Cal is actually Ross. Tobin finds Travis and tells him that Ross killed both the baby and Cal, and is going to keep killing them over and over. They are confronted by Ross, who mortally wounds Travis. As Ross forces Tobin to touch the rock, Becky attacks him and scratches out his other eye before dying from her wounds. Travis kills Ross. To understand the time loop, Travis eventually touches the rock. Many blades of grass go into his body, tangle his heart and organs, making Travis part of the grass. The stone makes him see strange visuals, therefore he understands the internal mechanism of the grass field and knows how to exit. He grabs Tobin's hand and guides him to an exit, instructing him to stop Becky and Cal from entering. He handed Tobin a rusted necklace that he took from Becky's corpse. In the blink of an eye, Tobin emerges in the church across the road, as a new pair of Becky and Cal are about to enter the grass. Tobin convinces them to stay out of the tall grass by showing them Becky's necklace. Cal and Becky get cautious and take Tobin into the car and drive away without going into the tall grass, hence closing the time loop. Their leaving gives Travis a huge releasement. He lies flat on the grass and dies. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe and share. Click the bell button to get notifications. ShameleSis will bring good luck to your life in the next 30 days. See you next time.